Hey, what's up, guys? Nick here with Overage Syndicate, and I wanted to shoot this video today talking to you again about why I say it's so important to use attorneys in this business. So I know I have several videos talking about this already, but I figured I would use a real life example and case study for you to let you know what can happen if you don't use an attorney when you should in this business. Um, I'm going to show you an actual real life case. This is not my case. This is a different company's case that I ended up finding while I was working lists and building my lead sheets today. So, and again, I've blacked out the names of the client and also the company because I'm not here to bash any company or anything like that, but this is a great learning opportunity. So I wanted to share it with you. But I have blacked out the names of the company, the client, for privacy reasons. So let's jump in and let's see what we can learn from this case. So in front of you on your screen, what you should see is a motion for distribution of excess funds and request for hearing. It's basically a claim form. This is someone that is submitting a claim and asking that the funds be released. So to give you a little background on the situation, this is a property sold and the property owner is deceased. So this the person claiming is an heir of the deceased. And so this asset recovery company found this heir and is now working on their behalf to help them recover the funds. So that's what we're dealing with here. You can see here there is a substantial amount of money involved in this case, over $200,000. So very large overage, very substantial amount of money in this case and at risk. And what has happened is this company has chosen to file a claim on behalf of the heir without using an attorney. Okay, so they filed everything, and they're just hoping to, I guess, to save a few bucks by not using an attorney. So this is their request. I can already see there's something wrong right off the bat. You'll notice down here there's what's called a certificate of service. Usually when funds are held by a court and you submit a claim, you need to send out notice to all parties that may be entitled to those funds. Well, you can see here they haven't filled this in and they haven't signed it. So right off the bat, they just gave a reason for the court to deny their claim because they didn't do, or they said, at least they didn't say that they completed the certificate of service. But that's just one issue I see, but there's other issues, and I'm going to show you what ended up happening in this case. What was the result? So you should see now, here is a screenshot of part of the order from the judge on what the findings were. And you can see here it's an entry denying motion for distribution of excess of funds. So this claim was denied. It was denied by the court. It was not granted. And they tell us why they denied it. If you look starting on the third line, it says, Mrs. So-and-so signature block does not contain a Supreme Court of Ohio registration number, nor is there any indication that Mrs. Blank is licensed to practice law in Ohio. A non-attorney cannot file pleadings on behalf of another party. Therefore, the motion is denied because it was filed on behalf of blank by a non-attorney. So it spells it out right there. The claim was denied because the person submitting the claim was submitting on behalf of someone else, in this case an heir, and they're not an attorney. So let's go over the lessons and the takeaways. Right off the bat, if they had used an attorney, this claim probably would have been approved by the judge. Excuse me. So, and this is reason number one why I use attorneys, is because in certain states, especially when funds are held in a court, you just need to use an attorney or else this happens. Um, this is a real life example. This has happened to me. There was a case I tried to file on my own without an attorney and I got denied. Pretty much for the same reason. Didn't use an attorney, but I was trying to collect funds on behalf of someone else, but I'm not an attorney. So what ended up happening, I wasted a bunch of time and ended up paying for attorney anyway. And this is why I stress this so much, is because you can overcome so many roadblocks and obstacles just by using an attorney. I understand that there are folks out there that say you can do this business without an attorney. That is true in some areas. I have filed claims without attorneys and gotten paid. But there are many states and counties where you do need an attorney. So this business is not black and white. It's not a one size fits all approach. You must understand, every state is different when it comes to surplus funds. Every county is different. And especially for tax and mortgage overages, the procedures can be completely different for tax overages versus mortgage overages, even if it's in the same state. So an attorney can help you navigate those procedures and help you make sure that a claim is filed correctly. Now, I know, based on what I can tell you right now that I was able to see the paperwork that was filed by the company here. Now, I'm not going to show you that paperwork because, one, I recognize the paperwork as being from a course that I've taken. So I'm not going to show you their proprietary information. It's not my course, it's someone else's. But I mean, they did a good job trying to cover all their bases and trying to show in the court that they are, working on behalf of someone. But again, it didn't matter at the end of the day. The paperwork didn't matter because they weren't an attorney. And so it's important, again, that you realize you could have all the right documents and still have your claim denied. So be very careful when someone says you can do this business without an attorney. Yes, that's true to a certain point. But in other places, you need to use one. I even happen to know how much the percentage split was going to be on this because they filed their fee agreement, which again, I would never suggest doing, but in this case they did. This company was going to get 20% of the funds recovered. So that's a lot. That's a substantial amount of money. 20% of 220,000. That's over $40,000. That's a substantial payday for this company, but yet they still chose to move forward without an attorney. I understand that people don't want to use attorneys because they don't want the extra expense, right? Here's another thing you need to understand. Attorneys are not that expensive. Most of my attorneys I can pay them a flat rate or they'll work contingency. I actually prefer to pay them hourly because it's cheaper in the long run. Because I can control my costs, and on a straightforward case, they're not putting in a ton of hours, 4, 5, 6 hours maybe. So I would rather, let's say in this example, if I had to pay an attorney 6 hours of work at $300 an hour, that's $1,800. So yeah, I'm going to have to pay $1,800 maybe up front if I'm paying hourly, most likely. But then at the end of the day, if I get this claim approved, who cares? It's going to be a $40,000 plus payday. Do not look at attorneys as an expense in your business. Look at it as an investment, because that's what it is, at least in my opinion. Now, let's say I don't have to charge them anything, but they're going to take 10% of the deal. Okay, fine. Have them take 10% of the deal. Or maybe they charge a flat rate fee of $5,000, but they take it out of the back end. I'm happy to pay that if it means that my claim is going to get approved and it's going to get done right. So that's the takeaway here, guys, is several takeaways just to recap. Look at attorneys as an investment, not a cost. Understand that you could have all the paperwork right and still get denied because you didn't use an attorney. And here's another point. Be very aware. If you're looking to learn this business, obviously the person teaching you the business needs to be knowledgeable, right? But just having knowledge of the business is not enough. They should have some experience, and they should be able to show you that they've actually done these cases themselves, in my opinion. I try to show that I have experience and that I don't just know about this stuff because I read about it and I took a bunch of courses. I actually try to show you case studies in my other videos, show you checks that come to my company, to show you that I don't just know about this business, I actually do it and have done it and continue to do it. And so that is another takeaway that I would give to you is, if you're learning how to do this business or anything, make sure that the teacher is not only knowledgeable, but has experience in it, personal experience. Okay. It doesn't matter what their credentials are or what they claim. They should be able to show you that they've done a case personally, in my opinion. I think that's all I have for you guys today. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you're able to learn. I hope, again, that this answers the question of why I use attorneys. It's so important, at least in my business, because then you can avoid this. Now, you can see here, this was filed back in February or March. So they're about 2 months in. And had they gone a different route and used an attorney, they may have been getting a check this month or next month. But instead, their claim has been denied. Now, can they fix it? Probably, but they've just lost a lot of time in the process. And again, they're going to, the worst part would be if they couldn't fix it and they lost this case. I don't think that'll happen, but you never know. So it is very important that it gets done right, and attorneys help you do that. So I hope this helps you guys. Again, you can file claims without an attorney. I've done it, but I don't recommend it, especially if you're a beginner. And it really depends on the state you're working in. Also, it depends on where the funds are being held and what the procedures are. Okay. I have personally, created a 50-state guide with all the different laws in each state regarding overages. It's been very helpful. You can check that out at school.overagecourse.com. Again, that's school.overagecourse.com. One last thing. If you are dead set on not using an attorney, you can do that. You're just taking on that risk. But there's always options. Let me tell you what the options are, because I love having options. Option number one, you can file claims on your own like this company did. You can do that, and you have a 50-50 chance. 50% chance it'll get approved, 50% chance it'll get disapproved. Option number two, hire your own attorney. Pay that investment. And sometimes you don't, just remember, you don't always have to pay it up front. Remember that. And everything is negotiable with attorneys. You can negotiate their rates, their fees, everything's negotiable. Remember that. So that's option number two, make the investment into an attorney. Option number three, you don't want to pay the cost of an attorney, so you partner with someone that will pay the cost of the attorney and that already has attorney contacts. That's something that I offer my students of my course, is I offer to partner with them. And their responsibility is to find and contact the leads. My responsibility is to take care of the paperwork, the attorney, and the submittal of everything, basically the whole back end process. And we split the profits 50-50. That's something I offer in my course to my students, but not everyone offers that. So those are your options again. Don't use an attorney, find one yourself, or partner with someone that already has those contacts. So there's always options, guys. If you want help and you want to potentially partner with me and you want to learn from me how I've done this business successfully, you can go to overagesyndicate.com or go directly to school.overagecourse.com, and there you'll find the whole system from A to Z of how I do this business successfully and how you can too. That's where you go to learn how. That's it for today. Again, hope this was helpful for you. And I hope that you learned something from this case study. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.